Whenever there's a crisis, there is a lot of potential change that happens to the world. Just a couple of examples that were going to take place due to this pandemic. Habitually, as human beings, there are many things that we do because this is how we've been taught, because it's tradition, because this is how it's been done in the past. For example, in-person business meetings, generally a preferred way to go about cementing deals. Now, because of the pandemic, a lot of business is being done over Zoom, over Skype, over FaceTime, whatever teleconference app you might have or own. You can communicate with somebody directly. Now, this is going to, therefore, change ongoing how we do business, because a lot of people are realizing that it's simply more convenient for everybody involved just to have that meeting over chat. And this change will have reverberating effects on many, many different industries post-pandemic. Take your commercial real estate. A lot of places like in Century City, you have these very dense office space areas, and they're a pain in the butt to get to. It costs a tremendous amount to park. You have to get your parking validation upon exit. Today, a lot of people would rather be able to do that business from home. Similarly, because in-person meetings will be in decreased demand, a lot of companies might say, hey, we will let you stay home. How about here? And the person says, hey, I'd even be willing to take a slight pay decrease in order to be able to conduct the business from home. From his standpoint, he doesn't have to spend the money on gas, the risk, the time in terms of commuting to and from work. It makes it much easier for him. Therefore, you will see a reduced demand for office space because you have to have smaller conference rooms. You won't have to have as many cubicles. You won't have to have as many rooms for conducting business. On the other hand, for someone who's very gregarious, who still wants to be around people, you might be able to see an up in pay because you'll be able to pay less for the space because there's going to be decreased demand. You're going to be willing to pay up for the employees that want and desire to meet customers in person, that are really personable with their clientele. You can still keep the other people on and everybody's happy. There's a net savings for society in this case. However, there is a reduced demand for commercial real estate. Similarly, being close to the center of the city is no longer in demand. So why would you go out there and buy a Manhattan condo to be close to work when you can telecommute from elsewhere? Exacerbating this is the fact that the driverless car, although it might still be several years away, will eventually come online, and people are going to, if they're willing to travel to work, they're going to be able to sleep in their cars. Therefore, the equation in terms of the demand for central real estate there will be different variables. There will be different coefficients in front of the variables because it's not as big a deal to work from afar as it is present day. So, in addition to the electrification of cars, in addition to the decreased demand for the commute, you are also going to see a drop in oil prices, or at least a much lower ceiling than we're used to having. Oil prices go down. This is going to have reverberating effects and negative effects on many countries who, frankly, have the majority of their income, the majority of their budget is being funded by oil purchases because the price that they're getting for the crude is much lower. There are serious questions how countries like Venezuela, how countries like Iran are going to be able to cajole their citizenry they used to be able to bribe them. They don't have the funds to do that any longer. There's going to be, therefore, a lot of unrest and unpredictability in the world. There's going to be a lot more volatility in terms of the trading on Wall Street, in terms of prices of assets. It's going to be really hard to price things out with the increased uncertainty that is going to exist around the world. And similarly, residential, as I said, residential real estate in New York, there's no reason to own a Manhattan condo any longer if you can telecommute. The prices of real estate in the center of cities will decrease along with the commercial real estate. And I'm very curious what you guys think. Please, by all means, lay your prediction out in the comments. And I really am curious how you guys will prognosticate the future. Peace and blessings, and subscribe and share this video. Peace.